Cops were after him. He didn't run from anybody. He was just trying to get the tiger to safety. So anyway, we're glad to be out and glad to be able to go back to work because I need Victor to help me, get the evidence together to defend him against these cases. So,
And
questions?
how will Victor, I mean, his stepdad talked about moving home, like kind of living under his thumb. Are you prepared to do that?
Well, of course, we're going to do everything that the court wants us to do, and ultimately that wasn't part of the judge's order necessarily. But, Victor's family has been supportive of him. They're still here for him and will continue to do so. And so I do anticipate that Victor will become more of an integral part in the family business and his dad's business. And I think that will be happening. So that's a good thing.
Could you remind us of his bond conditions? Is it an ankle monitor curfew?
Well, it's a 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew, which is very standard in these kind of cases, so it's nothing unusual that's been selected out for this particular case. And the normal bond conditions, which of course is report to his bond supervision officer and let him know if he changes jobs and things like that. So normal conditions.
What do you say to people who looks at Victor, looks at his record, look at his repeated bonding out, say he's a poster child for why cash bonds don't work? Like somebody like him should stay behind bars until trial.
Well, I would say just the opposite. I would say he's a poster child of why we live in the United States of America, and that is you're presumed to be innocent. And a lot of people out there, like HPD types, that want to assume somebody's guilty when they're not. Victor hasn't been convicted of anything, no crimes whatsoever. He's been convicted of nothing. And so just like your family and my family and everyone's family out there watching today, he's been convicted of nothing and enjoys the presumption of innocence. And we have from the very beginning steadfastly maintained our innocence, not only in the evading arrest case, in Harris County, which I think is just everyone's becoming very widely understanding is not a case at all, as well as I think that will be shown at the trial of this murder case now, which has now been set for December the 8th. And we're anxious for that date to get here so that we can get into the courtroom and quit talking about myths and get talking about real evidence or lack of.
Could you talk about the 2017 murder case? What are you saying? Is your client claiming self-defense? Is that what you told me last week?
Yeah, in the state of Texas, as well as most places in the United States and many places around the world, it's not a crime if you're defending yourself against someone else's unlawful use of force. And that has been our allegation and our position since day one, that Victor Cuevas committed no offense. He's not guilty of murder or anything else, and that he is not guilty of an offense. And we hope to, even though it's not our burden, we do think that we will bring forth evidence and it will be set forth clearly during the trial of this case in December that Victor Cuevas did not commit an offense and he defended himself against unlawful deadly force.
Will you let Victor say anything about the tiger or the last couple of weeks, how his life has been?
Well, Victor has a lawyer, and that's what lawyers do. Lawyers love to talk, okay?
Well,
and
y'all
have all.
Like to hear something from him. I think he, other than just looking at his Instagram.
Well, I mean, I don't know about looking at Instagram, but I know that he's been in jail for a while, and life goes on, and life goes fast, okay? So there may be a time in the very near future in which we may very well sit down and we may all have a chat, okay? And but that day's not today. We got a lot of things to do and a lot of work to do, but today's not the day for that. But it may happen soon. We may very well do that, okay? Just not today.
Any word from this DeAndre? Now that India has been sent to a sanctuary, if I owned the tiger, I probably would have been upset on my investment.
Well, there has been communication with the owner of the tiger, but at the end of the day, he did right, okay? He brought the tiger back. He brought the tiger back unharmed, and the agreement was that he would be able to do so anonymously. And so at the end of the day, we don't know if DeAndre or the owner brought him back or someone else brought him back. And that's okay, because that was the agreement that we made, that if he brought the tiger back, he could do it anonymously, and that's what happened. And we're just glad that the tiger is back totally unharmed, well kept, in good shape, and is now in a sanctuary, presumptively going to live a good life the rest of his life. So we're very happy about that.
What does it say that we're all here because if he was just charged with a murder case on a regular day, none of us would be here, but it's because he hung out with the tiger.
Well, yeah, we're here because the world is fascinated with India the tiger. The world is in love with India the tiger and the story. And it is not every day that you see a tiger, walking around the yards of a residential neighborhood in Houston, Texas. But that's what happened. And, the narrative originally came out that this was a, terrible man-eating, vicious tiger. And yet, you know, once the light kind of got shown on what this really was, this was a tiger that had been well kept for, well trained, had been taken great care of, and we see pictures of the tiger not only, you know, in the trailer with Gia, but also with the same police that was calling this a vicious man-eater, laying on the floor petting the tiger. So yes, it's unusual, and again, I'm still not saying it's a great idea to have a tiger, okay? Because many times they're not tamed like this and they're not taken care of like India was. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, we've seen a very contrary view of what this tiger was, and it was a very sweet, loving animal that was well cared for.
Does your client plan to pet sit any more exotic animals going forward?
Well, again, we haven't talked about that topic, but right now, our priorities, of course, is taking care of these cases and getting the business taken care of. You know, I think generically, Victor and his wife loves animals, and I think would like to do anything in the future that would accommodate taking care of it. So maybe a sanctuary or something like that, you know, a fully certified and sanctioned sanctuary where, you know, cats and other animals that maybe had been abused by others could be taken care of. So I think, you know, again, we haven't really been working on the business plan for that, but I know that he loves animals, and I know that he'd love to take care of animals and help those that have been harmed and hurt in the past. So I think that's something that, you know, would be appealing.
Thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Y'all have a great day.